12 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock in Trinidad and Tobago, and we celebrated Valentine's Day, but we need to talk about how we are keeping the romance alive beyond that one day. So we have with us this morning Michael Stewart. He's a counselor. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. Happy to be here, and it's a wonderful day here in Tobago. I understand you all had no electricity yesterday, but I'm glad that you all are back online now.
Yes, we are thankful as well, and lucky Tobago. I have to admit, that's something we all were talking about yesterday. You know, we're talking about it being nationwide, but it's island-wide, as Roca said earlier on in the show, because Tobago enjoyed, you know, normalcy.
So, well, considering that in the history, whenever Trinidad lost power, we also lost power. So it is the good advances that we've made since then.
Oh, yes, definitely. Now, one of the conversations we're talking about today, of course, we're talking about romance beyond Valentine's Day. And this is a conversation that I think many of us either don't have a lot, or we research it, but we don't discuss it openly because it may be a little bit of taboo because we have to look into ourselves. And this year for Valentine's Day, COVID-19, we're reopening, and you saw a lot of people on our streets in Trinidad and Tobago selling these items, all these different things, you know, to give these big displays of love. But what happens after that? So what do you think, first of all, the effect of Valentine's Day actually is on relationships and society as a whole?
I think Valentine's Day is supposed to put an extra stamp on an existing good relationship. What happens in many cases is that Valentine's is now the replacement of it. It is for some people, not for all. It is a routine. It is a facade, a face dressing. So my concept is that if we are doing it once a year, this attitude and feeling and gift giving that takes place on Valentine's Day, if it takes place only on that day, then one wonders if it is really romance and if it is really love. Because the attitudes that we want to perpetrate on this day should be a lifestyle. And that's why I'm happy for the topic that you all chose, because we must have Valentine's post and pre-Valentine's.
Now, one of the things also that's become popular is love languages. And, you know, with Valentine's Day, as you said, this is something that we should, you know, celebrate outside of just that day. But what about individuals who may not be romantics at heart, but go that extra mile just for Valentine's Day? What tips do you have for them to be able to keep that romance alive outside of the day?
Right. So probably what we should do is define what we consider as romance. I think we consider romance as this dinner with candlelight. And some people say, well, I can't afford that, so they can't romance. Somebody thinks it must be going to a dance, dressing up and buying clothes, and somebody going on a flight somewhere. But I want to say that, you know, romance really is that feeling of excitement and mystery. If you really look at the definition, it's the feeling of excitement and mystery that is associated with love. And you don't need to have money for that. If somebody feels excited in their relationship and the mystery, I wonder what's next, I look forward to the next day with this person, I look forward to the next year, then you have established romance. And one of the things that goes along with romance is intimacy. Intimacy, that is that close familiarity, that friendship that we have with one another. And that many times missing in relationships, that closeness. We have grown up apart because we start to live in relationships as tenants. You and I just pass each other. We exist and we share a cost for this space that we operate in. But are we really intimate? And I think the best definition I heard for intimacy is this: into me you see. Yes? You can see into me. I can feel you. You can feel me. And when you feel that connection between people, then you tell yourself, hey, listen, we really have some good romance experience here. And Valentine's Day is just an additional stamp on that.
So what tips do you have for those who are trying to keep that intimacy alive? As you mentioned, you don't need to have a large amount of money. And admittedly, with social media now, we see all these large displays of love and affection that for some, especially the younger generation, has become ingrained that this is what I have to do. So how can you assist or give tips and tricks to actually move away from that narrative of love? and romance?
Oh, right. Well, I hope you have time for all of that because there's so many tips. One of the things is genuinely listening to your partner. I think we listen to respond, but we don't listen to understand. If you listen to your partner, so many times relationships break up, and the person said, I don't know why the person left. I don't know why that they broke up. And the person said, I'm tired talking. I've explained this too often and he's not hearing. She's not listening. Genuinely listen. And sometimes just checking in on the person. How are we doing? Are you happy in this relationship? Nothing wrong in doing those routine checks. For our cars, we do it. For our houses, we do it. Just to make sure that it is going well and do routinely, genuinely listening to the person. The other thing that I want to say is playing in your relationship, playfulness. When people courting and so on in the early days of courting, they play. But then after a while, playing stops. So play is a necessary part. Here's what somebody said, some wise person. I wish I had thought of this phrase myself. We stop play, not because we grow old, but we grow old because we stop playing. And when we start playing with our spouse, joking and so on, some of us have gotten too serious. It's too mundane and it's too formal. And everything that we have to talk about is about the children, is about the house, it's about the bills, and it's only business discussion. When you call, it is about what time you're coming home, could you bring home bread? When you call the wife, are you talking, did you cook? And so on. What about the playful discussions that really sound childish, that brings out that excitement that we talk about with romance and intimacy? That's a necessary part. I'll give you another one. Where we talk about kind words. Sometimes there are too many harsh words in relationships, and we give the harsh words because at the moment we are angry, at the moment we are upset, and we say things that we really do not mean. We talk about leaving, we threaten people, and we say things, and then after we make a back, but did the words disappear? So part of romance is having the nice words to say. Find something that is truthful. Don't try to mama guide the person. And always say more nice things about the person and to the person than you say bad. They cannot be all that bad. And when you do that, and that's just three. I don't know how much time you have. Self-care happens to be one of the others that I want to say. That sometimes we go to the gym because we are looking for somebody, men and women. And then after we find the person, gym stops. Are you taking care of yourself so that you continue to look handsome, continue to look beautiful, continue to be appealing to your spouse? Because part of what drew you all together would have been that attraction. But some people let themselves go. Some gentlemen have allowed their stomach to go beyond their girth. And some women may have allowed their weight to be able to overcome them. But work on self-care, work on your health and so on to make sure you are constantly appealing. Of course, you can't keep it 100% as you got it, but at least they'll be able to say, I know this person is doing their best to continue to be appealing.
You shared some valuable insight with us this morning on the Now Morning Show, Michael Stewart. Thank you so much for being with us. Hoping we can have you back soon because some of those key takeaways really are going to make a difference. Self-care and I think also play. Play is so important.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much for having me. God bless you all.
God bless you too. Thanks for being on the Now Morning Show. That was Michael Stewart talking about keeping the romance alive after Valentine's Day. And I'll say it again, play. Play is very important.
I would agree, 100%. Let's take a quick break and we come back with more inside the Now Morning Show. Make sure you get some time to play today, all right? Yeah.